Yeah, where is everybody?
Slacking.
Slackers.
Probably stayed up all morning.
Don't they know? Don't they know you're supposed to go to bed at 9:30 every night?
Stayed up all night drinking Mountain Dew. I swear.
No, now you're not. Now you're welcome. So we're going to let your experiments run for another week to let people who haven't caught up get planted and caught up and give us another week of growth on that. So just so you know, next week we'll be finishing those up. Okay, so today we're going to do a kind of a partner project. If partner project would be the easiest way to do it. If you want to do it by yourself, you can. Good luck with that, because it might be a little more difficult to do it by yourself. It's going to be more work if you're just by yourself. So if you want to do it in pairs, I would advise that. So down under lab activities, you've got a new section called the Organic Transition Case Study. Organic Transition Case Study. So this week you're supposed to be reading the Is Organic Agriculture Affluent Narcissism article, and this goes really nicely with that article. You're getting kind of the negative side of organic agriculture. I want to help you get a little bit of a positive side of it as well. So what I've done is basically set up a case study where you need to create a proposal. And your proposal needs to be for the organic transition and production on, this is our ag pavilion field that you're seeing here. And the ag pavilion field, is north of town where we went to see the hops and all that. So what you're going to do is pretend like you became the owner of that field, and you're going to create a proposal that goes through the process of creating a timeline and what products you're going to produce and some of the costs that are going to be associated with that. Okay. So we're going to pretend like the ag pavilion currently has forage, crop alfalfa. There's some of that up there. It's been sand foin for the years before that. Last time fertilizer and pesticide was used in the field was during June 2009. Okay. So that should help you when you discover what it takes to become organically certified. Fur irrigation is currently practiced on the field. So you need to create, you and your partner, need to create a proposal for the conversion and operation of this field as an organically certified farm. Now, that's different than just saying it's organic or all natural or whatever. Organic certification is a function of the USDA. So you need to know, you're going to need to learn a little bit about the process of converting a farm to organic certification. The proposal should contain the following four things. Number one, the physical characteristics of this field. So in your report, you just open up a Word document and begin to write basically a technical report or a technical proposal on how you would convert this. So you need some physical characteristics of this field. You can use paragraphs, you can use bullet points, you can use both, I don't care, just as long as you're covering some of those points. So number one, how many acres is that field? You can have fun at this link right there. That takes you to a really cool website that lets you actually plug in those coordinates. And once you plug in those coordinates, you can actually begin to draw a border around a field. And once you finish it, it'll say, okay, this field is 10.89 acres. You're going to have to look up soil type. And so let me just show. So this is what... so I could type in here, Powell, Wyoming. This is the MAPS website. And I can zoom in here. And if I wanted to, I could basically measure the acreage of this field by putting these, dropping these dots on here. And when you do that, you can mess around with those dots a little bit. You'll see that this field is 34.78 acres. Not the one that you're looking at, but that random one that I just chose. Okay? So that's a pretty cool tool. You can use that to determine the acreage of this field. The soil link here, what you'll do, you can take this latitude and longitude here as well, and you can plug it in. So you click menu, zoom to a location, and get rid of that. Zoom to a location. You can enter a location if you want to. So you can go to 82435. I'm going to back up here a little bit and move, and I'm going to zoom in to a particular soil just to show you what information you can get about a soil. So if I drop the little pin there, it's going to tell me, okay, you've got a couple different kinds of soils. I'm just going to pick whatever they put on the top right there. So I pick the soil, and all of a sudden I see a really nice soil profile here. I can look at the organic matter, the clay percentage, the sand percentage, pH, all that kind of stuff. Another thing I can do, and you're just going to need to explore, I would take a look at this land classification. You might want to check out the soil suitability ratings, but you can see some of the things that are notable about a particular field by just messing around with some things in here. And again, I would go soil suitability ratings, agriculture. Is there anything that we need to think about or consider? And then land classification. You can see that this is a 3S. You can click on this thing and go there to learn more about what a 3S rating is, if it has some kind of limitations or anything like that. But that'll give you a lot of soil information that you can put in here. You'll need to just find this. You'll need to just do some Googling around to find climate data, rainfall data, irrigation possibilities. If you want to build that into, say you wanted to build a drip irrigation system for your organic certified organic tomato production, you would need to state that here. You know, maybe you would describe what the system would look like. You would want to eventually put some costs associated with that, so you might have to plan that out a little bit. Let's see, so we're growing season length. Again, you're going to need to find that information is out there. You just need to find that information on Google. Any other information that you feel is important to sort of the physical characteristics of that land. Second, a description of the transition process, the timeline, and costs. You'll see below this on the main page of Moodle, there's a bunch of links. And on those links, those are going to tell you, some of them are maybe 50-page documents or something like that, that walk you through the process of transitioning from conventional agriculture to organic agriculture. So you're going to have to make use of those links, and as you go through it, you're going to understand, like, holy cow, does he want me to read this whole 50-page document before I go? No. That's part of this assignment, is learning how to deal with a lot of information in a short time frame. Okay? So you're going to have a week to do this. It's more than enough time to do this, but you're going to actually have to spend time doing this, right? Some things you're going to want to read more detailed. Some things you're just going to glance over and get the main points, and then put that information into your proposal. So you're going to need to describe that transition process. What has to happen to go from where it is now into certified organic? What's the timeline, and what are the costs associated with going to organic production? Number 3, a proposed list of crops. If you want to do livestock in this, that's fine. It just can't be a majority livestock. It has to be a majority crops. If you want to do livestock in the mix, that's cool, but you're going to have to educate yourself about organically certified livestock as well. So that'll add an additional layer to what you're doing. So proposed list of crops, the field layout for what you would propose, how you would propose to grow things. If you need to locate an organic seed source, any equipment needs that you might have, and that can include tractors. Just think through what you would need in order to do organic production of any kind on this acreage. Rotational scheme, if you have one, fertilizer additions, and the fertilizers have to be organic It can't just be regular old fertilizer you get at the co-op, right? That's part of the learning process here. And a timeline of crop production. When do you think you'll produce crops? When will it be ready? And then how and where do you propose to sell your products? So local outlets, maybe restaurants, maybe farmers market, maybe up in Billings, at Lucky's, maybe I don't know where. You need to determine that and propose that. I haven't linked to this PDF. This PDF is really super long, but it has some great stuff in terms of crop rotation and compost and stuff like that related to organic production. So follow this kind of four-point outline for your proposal. This is going to be due in a week. You can expand on, if there's something that you feel is really important that I didn't put on here that you really think is important to your production, to your proposed production of whatever organic product, and it can be multiple. You can have multiple crops. It doesn't just have to be a single crop. In fact, usually multiple crops are encouraged. So you can think about this as a half garden, half field production, all field production. Just however you want. It's really kind of open-ended, okay? The point really is, number one, to understand what it takes to be organically certified, and number two, to be able to deal with a lot of information in, like I said, in a shorter period of time, okay? Any resources you use, so online resources that you go to and use, you want to document those at the end of the report. I don't have any limit on page length. Okay, so use whatever you need to, however long you need to. If you want figures or a map or things that you draw that you take a picture of and put it in there in terms of the layout of the field, that all that stuff's fine. You don't need to make it like 50 pages or 20 pages or 10 pages or anything like that, but it needs to be full in terms of all of this stuff. Okay? This assignment is worth 15 points. That's a lab and a half. Okay, so in the scheme of labs, this is a bigger lab, and you need to make sure that you spend time on that. I'm not going to grade it hard, but I am going to grade it based on you're having these four things as parts of your proposal. Okay, the more detailed you are, usually the more points you're going to get. Okay, so cover each one of these with the right amount of material so that it's just properly done. You can, like I said, you can use bulleted lists if you want to. You're not required to. If it's helpful for some reason, all the crops you're going to produce or all of the costs that you would associate with this, that's fine to use a bulleted list. In some cases, yeah, instead of a paragraph, right. Yeah, so timelines work for this, lists of equipment work for this, list of crops that you're going to need to do, those work for this. So you can, I really don't care if you want to pair up, that's totally fine. You can tell it's going to be a little bit more work than normal, so if you pair with somebody, you want to break this up. So, hey, I'll take the physical characteristics and you start the transition. Let's agree to what we're going to grow or what we think we want to grow, and let's go from there. So breaking it up is going to be a lot easier for you. If you had to do this all by yourself, it would be a pretty big project. So I'd encourage you to pair up. What other questions? Let me just show you real fast the information that's below here. So this guide for organic crop producers. Not a very long document, like I said, 50 pages, something like that. And it's pretty good about being succinct. Like, what do you need to know as a crop producer? I don't care really about the history of things. Really what I want to get to is this National Organic Program. Okay. What has to, maybe these organic certification actual laws, and what those involve, what the certification process is. That's pretty important for your timeline. How much does it cost? Who has to come say what the deal is? So some of these things you're going to want to put into your timeline, right? Like this is the documentation that you have to create to become organically certified. So you would want to make sure that you have time in your timeline to create this documentation, to have the certifier come visit you. You're going to have costs associated with that and so forth. So that's that one. The same thing for livestock producers. There's a little bit of different information based on the life cycle of different kinds of livestock and what that takes. Moses, MOSES, that's an organic ag sort of. They're not USDA. They're an organic ag organization that deals with organic certification, organic processes, and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to walk you through some information as well. Again, not too long of a document, but something you could definitely, it's 30 pages or so, something you can definitely skim and get the information that you need to off of that. For more information, so here's the USDA's full organic website, so you can explore this to your heart's delight. There's also a National Organic Program handbook, so a handbook that the USDA puts out to say, okay, here's all the standards that you need to know that matter to you in organic production. So there's a ton of information, some of it more useful than others for this kind of transition, but hopefully it'll be somewhat fun for you to be able to kind of explore what organic means and explore what would you put your money into if you had some money to put, right? So you might want to research like which organic crops actually make money versus what can I actually grow here in Powell, right? So you have to base it in Powell, and that's going to put some restrictions on you. So questions? At this point, I'm gonna let you go wherever you want to go. If you want to work on it for the next hour or so, totally awesome. If you would rather go somewhere else and plan with your person, and then you guys can separate ways, whatever. Again, I encourage if you're going to separate ways and work on it at different places. Use something like Google Docs or Office 365 to collaborate on that paper. Okay. So this paper will be due next Thursday. You'll need to attach it to Moodle, okay, as a Word document or a PDF, either one, if you're like a Mac user or something like that. Other questions? Make sure you spend time on it. Don't just start this next Wednesday, because you'll be way behind if you do that. All right? All right. Break yourselves up and have fun. If you have questions, please email me. I'd be glad to help you think through what you're doing on this.